Hi everyone, thank you for clicking. So this video is in response to some of our other videos in which we got comments regarding our meter reviews and accuracy and why we do what we do, why we do the testing on other meters, and why we have a bias towards some versus others.
Right, so there were some questions. People were concerned. We did a meter review where I think we dressed up in white lab coats and we were comparing meters. Yeah, it was for fun. And people were...
Because we like our work.
Yes, exactly. Having fun at work.
Yeah.
So there were some comments about, you know, there being some bias and also ignoring one meter in particular, the GQ, what model?
390.
The
GMS-390.
390. So we'll talk about that. But what we were doing was comparing meters that are commonly available in the market for the consumer or prosumer market for measuring RF.
The average person.
Right, the average person. So gigahertz solutions are more expensive, higher end meters, but the point that we're trying to show is that manufacturers are making claims about frequency response. Some are saying that their meters are good for, 20 megahertz to 10 gigahertz, and it's just like, well, okay, how do you back up that claim? And when you're saying those claims, that's sort of like, the analogy could be like, are your eyes sensitive to light, or are your eyes good enough that you can actually recognize objects? And identify different things, because making a claim that a meter covers a certain frequency range, well, how even is the response? Is it just as sensitive at 30 megahertz as it is at the same power level at 10 gigahertz? These are important things to consider when you're talking about exposure. So what we're doing is comparing these sorts of things.
So we're currently sitting in a Faraday cage.
This is a Faraday cage. It's actually an RF reverberation chamber specifically for EMC testing. And so this environment is completely, the only source of RF is a little bit coming from the video camera itself. But we've got, this is an AM10. It's showing right now its minimum.
Less than.
Its minimum scale is less than 0.02 volts per meter.
Or less than 1 microwatt.
Well, less than 1. So this meter doesn't read below 1 mic. So that's expected.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on in here. So let's we have a tri-field meter.
Yes.
Right? So we turn this thing into the RF scale. And so we're seeing, as we should, zero milliwatts per square meter in this case. Let's look at the Safe and Sound Pro 2. And right now we're seeing it fluctuate between 0.071 and 0.1 microwatts per square meter, and the reason for that not being zero is that there's a little bit of RF emanating from this camera. Hi, camera. So then we came across the GQ,
which has it does pretty much everything. It lists its qualities are everything a meter could possibly do.
It does data logging, it measures mag fields, it measures electric fields,
it measures RF,
and it has the option, like Kayla said, for data logging. So I really wanted to.
And you can self-calibrate it. Like, it's not like factory calibrated. You can calibrate it yourself.
Yeah, it does come factory calibrate,
yes.
but to double check, it's sort of like, okay, well, we took this meter and put it in a Faraday cage, multiple Faraday cages, and in particular this one did it, and so right now, after calibration, it's showing around 4 milliwatts per square meter, and so that scale, right now it's 3.9. So that's saying right now in this Faraday cage, which has no RF whatsoever, that we're getting 4,000 microwatts per square meter. So it's possible that this is a bad meter.
Yeah, but it could be just.
It could be a bit. So we could have said that, but
based on what we've seen on the meter that we've tested,
right,
we think it's not even worth comparing to other meters because it can't make a fair comparison or a fair measurement value.
Well, at this level, I mean, if you don't know, the baseline is how can we start? And this meter was our video, I should say, was talking about RF.
RF
specifically,
yeah.
So we couldn't
the tri-field also does mag and E field, but we didn't compare that because we didn't measure it for this meter.
Right, we were comparing to gigahertz solutions, so we were talking about RF. So That's why. So
Yeah.
I would have loved to see this meter be able to at least do something. We also had the coronet, which I don't have in the room here with us. But again, all the meters at baseline were showing a baseline.
Yeah.
So that's why we couldn't do that. We just wanted to explain. Sort of. Thank you.
Expand on why we chose to
Yeah.
not even review it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, so thanks for sticking with us. Hope you enjoyed that and learned a little bit more. If there's any meters that you know of that you'd like tested, feel free to send us some and we will do a full comparison on it. And yeah, keep leaving comments. It's great to hear from you. Thank you.